Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Are you still listening to half-assed talk radio with a host talking down to a caller? Turn it off and turn on the Great American Broadcast Network. You'll hear the host talking with lots of listeners, the citizen panel, and they become the co-hosts. Turn off half-assed talk and turn on talk radio with more ass than you can handle. All opinions, all ideas, all in one place. The Great American Broadcast Network.
We're GabNet, and we've got you covered live 5 nights a week. First Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, it's The Exchange.
Harlan Ellison totally insisted that there were no sounds in space on Babylon 5. Watching it for 20 minutes will clearly show that there are sounds in space. So what the fuck are you pulling this out of, Mr. Harlan Ellison? That pretty much cemented the idea of who Harlan was in my brain.
Tuesday through Friday at 10 Eastern, join Alex Bennett on the Ramble.
You don't think Bill Clinton's a pervert?
No, I don't.
Go ahead.
No, I really don't. I think I think he's a man who let his dick talk for him. You know, I think he's a guy who was pursued by a young woman and should have said no, but he didn't. Now, the only woman I ever talked to that fucked Bill Clinton was Jennifer Flowers. She kept saying during the interview, you know, I really did have sex with Bill Clinton. And I asked her the question, I said, that's not what's important to me. What's important to me was he a gentleman? And she said, he was terrific. She said, every time we'd have sex, the next day he would call and see if I was okay. He never dodged my calls. If I wanted to call him, he was absolute gentleman.
Tuesday through Friday at midnight, The Intersection.
We now know that Trump doesn't hate all Democrats. He at least likes the Democrats who he perceives to be as crooked as he is.
Ah, wait a minute, ring that bell!
I mean, between Menendez and Blagojevich, you know, who he pardoned.
Mm-hmm. If you like sports, we've got that too, with The Arena, Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
There's a lot of long-ass games come knockout round because they have to finish. So you have to play up to 120 minutes plus a penalty shootout. A penalty kick.
Catch up on all the shows with our weekend flashback. All shows have the Citizen Panel, an exclusive concept of GabNet. It's new, it's daring, it's talk like you've never heard it before. Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. GabNet needs you. Yes, GabNet needs you to call our live programs and be a part of the citizen panels. It's the most innovative talk format yet because it's not just one caller, it's a group of callers interacting with the hosts at the same time. Here's how you do it. It's simple. First, download Skype at skype.com. To install it, answer 4 simple questions. First name, last name, email address, and your choice of ID. Then launch Skype, go to Add Contacts, type in GabNet Live, and ask to be made a contact. Then you're ready to be on the citizen panel. If you're too lazy, well, you can always call on the phone at 347-352-0079. That's 347-352-0079. For all the information and a call button for Skype, log on to gabnet.net. At the bottom of the page, you'll find a video on how to call us and how to use GabNet. It couldn't be easier. It couldn't be more fun and exciting. We're new. We're different. But we need you to call. So for crying out loud, call or we'll kill this dog. Don't worry, Fluffy. They won't let you die. I'm not kidding. Call or Fluffy gets it. Oopsie. Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
It's Alex. It's the Ramble. It's time for us to ramble along with our wonderful little program here. And we like to always check in with a former old lady. You'll see what I mean in a second here. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting from Lake Oswego. I love saying that, Lake Oswego.
Why do you like to say that?
I don't know why. It's actually Portland is where more specifically you are. But I just like Lake Oswego. It just, I don't know, rolls off the tongue nicely. This is Ronni Bennett, ladies and gentlemen, for her once fortnightly trip into Bennett land, or double Bennett land. First of all, I want to talk to you about something that you wrote this week, and a little tear came to my eye as I read it. You had a very happy happenstance, and now I don't want you to get mad at me for saying this, okay? But can I call you Grandma?
I don't. I mean, if I were going to choose something like that, I would probably pick Gran or Granny. Yeah.
Mima is something people use a lot, you know. Yeah. But you never were a grandmother till recently.
Yes.
Let's explain this again, part of it, and then let's get to the more present story. When I first met you, you admitted to me that you had recently had a child that you gave up for adoption.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, because of this damn DNA stuff, you sign up for the DNA thing. It says, oh, this person is a 100% match to you, or something ridiculous.
50% means child or parent, yes.
Yeah. And it turned out it was your kid.
Yes.
Because sometimes with these DNA matches, they send you these things like, here are the closest matches to you. You may know this person. Know this person? He came out of me. So you found your son after, what?
55 years.
55 years.
Half a century.
That's amazing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And as we all know, you have a cancer. I hate to say it. It's a word that just doesn't roll off my tongue too easily. And so at this time, for this to happen to you is, I think, nothing short of wonderful.
A friend of mine, I wrote about, my son, Tom is his name, and I've been talking on the phone weekly for a while. Mm-hmm. And then last Saturday, which I wrote about yesterday, he and his wife and his son came to visit and spend the day. Mm-hmm. And speaking of being a grandma and an old lady, why did I start this sentence?
To tell the story about them coming here.
Yeah, but I can't remember where I was going with that sentence.
Well, they showed up. Okay.
But at any rate, they came and we had a wonderful time. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where I was going with that. Ask your next question.
Well, what I would ask, first of all, because this was your first actual physical meeting with him. Yes. He lives down in where, Napa, in California?
In the Napa Valley.
Napa Valley. So did he drive up with the wife and kids?
No, they flew.
They flew? Wow. Mm-hmm.
They were up here looking for homes because they have, long before knowing about me, they had been planning on moving to Oregon.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it was it had other reasons for existence. Anyway, they came to visit you. Now, I got to ask you, in anticipation of this, what was going through your head?
Well, we'd spoken a number of times on the phone, and I'd really come to like him a lot. I suppose you could, in the same circumstance, you might not like the person. I suppose that could happen,
Yeah.
But I really like him, and we have a lot of weird little things you wouldn't guess were genetic that we have in common, which I think we talked about on another one of these shows. Yeah. And I was, excuse me, I was apprehensive. Mm-hmm. Not a lot, but a little bit. And there's a knock at the door at the appropriate time. We'd planned. And I opened the door, and I'd seen photographs of him, and there he was, recognized him, his wife, Kathy, and their little 4-year-old, Henry. And it all just melted away. Any apprehension that I had just was gone.
It was just gone. But
gone.
But
and we had a wonderful day. We talked about our families and, I don't know, just everything under the sun. They arrived with food, excuse me, and so we had that, and I had a couple bottles of really good wine. We didn't give Henry any of that, but we drank it, and this wonderful little kid who brought me this mug he made for me. Look at that, I'm drinking my coffee from
And how
it.
old is he? That's a pretty good mug for a 4-year-old.
It's very pretty.
It's very pretty.
Yes.
Wow. So, all I'm saying is that the apprehension must have been huge, and
No,
and then
it
when
wasn't
and then
huge,
when
but it was there.
and then
It
when
was
it
there.
happened, all the apprehension was gone, because it was a reality now. You know.
You know, I can't explain this at all. I'm sorry, I've got something in my throat. I can't explain this, and I've stopped asking myself now. I feel like I've known not just him, but his wife. I've known, it's like they aren't strangers to me.
Right. Right.
And I'm related to him, you know, biologically, not to her.
Yeah.
And, you know, I never raised any children. What do I know about them? And they're kind of these little things to me that are liable to do something I don't know how to handle. And this kid he's a wonderfully behaved, terrific kid.
What's great though is you have a child and a son, and you've never had to go through all the problems of raising him.
Right,
In other words, you went straight to person, okay? You know.
Just presented to me as a grown-up.
Can I ask you? This is kind of interesting. How did he refer to you? Did he say mom?
No.
No.
No, he has a mother. A
Yeah,
mother raised
right.
him.
So he calls you Ronnie, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that giving birth has anything to do with being a mother.
You're quite right.
It has to do with taking care of somebody day in and day out, loving them no matter what, and doing the best you can to turn them into a wonderful, grown-up, responsible person.
Well, if I were him, being who I am, I would refer to you as bio mom.
Ah, yeah, well.
This
is a wonderful thing, and we're
you
going
know,
to
when you and
do
I
it again.
when you and I first met, and I mentioned this in your blog, when you and I first met back in what 19? God, what year was it? Was it?
I thought
it had to be.
was
Had to be like
17 or 18, but maybe I was a year or two older. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was about 1960. If I'm remembering it correctly, because I remember at 19 I left town to go to Reno, right?
Right.
But
I knew you then.
And then you did know me then.
Yes.
Well,
we knew each other when you were in Reno.
But then we're talking about maybe 59. But anyway, when I met you, you told me about this story, and I guess the reason I kind of bonded with you, and I thought about this, and I don't know if I thought it at the time, was that I had gone through a similar experience from the other side. I had a girlfriend give birth to a child and give it up for adoption, and it was something that weighed heavily on me. So I could relate to the fact that, you know, this could not have been an easy thing for you to deal with. And I think over the years your mind has gone to that place now and then, wondering about the child and what happened to the child and so on. So here you have the resolution. I don't know what I would do if the resolution happened to me, like a kid came knocking on my door and saying, "Hey, I'm your son." Hi, Dad. Yeah, you know. So it's you know, I know that it did affect you at the time, and it probably in some ways informed the rest of your life in certain ways you probably can't put your finger on. I know it did with mine. Like, I never had any kids.
Nor did I, nor did we.
Because I didn't trust. No, because I didn't feel that I trusted any relationship I had to be strong enough that that even if we got divorced, that person wouldn't hold the kid against me or use the kid against me. So I didn't. I was very particular about, and I didn't want to get somebody else pregnant accidentally. I only wanted to do it on purpose. So I always took, extreme measures in my life to see that I wasn't getting somebody pregnant. I knew that I could, obviously. So I know it can have a long-term lasting effect on you. I think had that not happened to me when I was, 19, I think that I probably would have had kids pretty easily over the years. My whole life would have changed as a result of that because your priorities change. Here I never had kids, so I could be as selfish as I wanted to with my life. But when you got those other people involved, it becomes a real problem, What are you smiling about?
Pretty amazing. I mean, the people who commented on my blog post about our meeting, a friend of mine in Boston, Millie Garfield, I think she emailed me rather than leaving a note, that this was Hanukkah week, and she said, the miracle of, and she explained, of course, the miracle of Hanukkah. They had enough oil for 1 day of light, and it lasted for 8 days, and that was a miracle. And she said, and this is your miracle.
Oh, it is.
In the same week as the Hanukkah miracle.
I mean, it's a lucky happenstance. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm sure I will never have that moment. And to this day, I wonder whatever happened to the kid. I think he became Howard Stern, but I'm not quite sure.
I always thought of Howard Stern as about the same age as you. I guess I'm wrong. He's younger. Huh?
Oh, no, he's not 70. I'm going to be 79 on Tuesday. Was Tuesday? What is Tuesday? Monday. Whatever.
Tuesday.
Tuesday is the 18th?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to be 79. Howard's only 62, something like that, 63. Maybe a little older. But anyway, so this is just a wonderful thing. If anybody has a chance, you should read about it on her blog at timegoesby.net, because it's just, I read it and I was just so happy for you. I could feel the happiness oozing off the screen at me.
In other news.
Meanwhile, in other news,
I'm starting new chemo on Thursday.
Oh.
Because the other wasn't working, and that's why I have new cancer. And this is like that one, although it's much stronger, and it's supposed to, if it works, extend my relatively healthy life longer than it would without the chemo.
Right.
It has stronger side effects. We'll see if I can handle them.
Yeah. That's the hardest part. I mean, sometimes you say, okay, these things extend life, but at what cost?
Right.
What it doesn't extend maybe the quality of your life. That's the problem.
Yes.
It creates a quality of life that's a bit more infirmed, let's say. I mean, I hate to use a term like that, but I mean, you do what you can do.
Yes, and right now another problem is I think we discussed that the cancer had moved or appeared in one of my lungs. Mm-hmm. And because of that, they said it's due to those cancer nodules that I'm having a lot of trouble breathing, and I have to move very slowly now and do everything slowly and rest in between. Irritating as hell, let me tell you.
Oh, well, let me ask you this, though. Did you start having that symptom prior to finding out that the cancer had come back?
I don't remember.
Because I don't remember you complaining about breathing.
No,
and
I don't complain.
No. Okay, yeah, and like a Jewish mother, you'll sit in the dark. Please complain. You have a right to complain.
I don't have a right to complain. I compared to many people in my circumstances, more or less, I've been incredibly lucky. One of the things that still amazes me about this is that if you don't count the effects of cancer of chemotherapy,
Mm-hmm.
and in this case the breathing, problem
Right.
that isn't it's difficult, but it's not horrible. And so I just have to be slower. Is it amazes me that you can have something inside your body that is ravaging your body.
Right.
But except for those side effects, I wouldn't know that except that the doctors told me.
Well, that's what I'm
I mean,
saying.
that just astonishes
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, that prior to this diagnosis that the cancer had come back, okay, you seem to not complain about being short of breath or being tired all the time or whatever.
Before it had recurred, I was fine for 8 or 9 or 10 months.
Yeah.
But I mean, even now that it's recurred or moved, whatever it does, appeared in 2 other places, still, if you don't count the breathing problem, and of course side effects are from the chemo, not the cancer.
Right.
So you don't count those.
You're doing...
I can't believe that something is moving around doing terrible things inside my body that will kill me eventually.
Yeah.
But I feel fine. I mean, it's just, cancer is possibly the most fearful medical word we have. Whenever you hear that someone has cancer, there are a few cancers that we're able to take care of fairly well, but only a few. Mostly cancer means, oh my God. And how it can be going on inside, and I feel relatively fine, just amazes me. I mean, I don't expect that to last forever during this process, but it still amazes me right now.
Yeah. It's one of those kind of things that when you hear the word, you immediately, people, even if somebody says, oh, you've got skin cancer, they go crazy, because the word cancer is even though we know skin cancer, you can probably take care of it and it's fine. Prostate cancer is one that's easily taken care of, pretty much, if it hasn't spread. But when you hear those words, they have a certain resiliency that no other word has. And by the way, let's mention, cancer isn't one disease. It's a disease with all kinds of subsets.
Mm-hmm.
You've got skin cancer, you've got lung cancer.
Even if two people's cancer are called the same thing, it will manifest itself differently in each person, as does chemo. Right. Some people's chemo, clears out the cancer and they're fine for years and years and years. Other people, it has no effect, doesn't change the cancer at all, and everything in between. So there's no way to predict what's going to happen for sure. I mean, when the doctors say to me, if you take this chemo, you will have X amount of time. If you don't, you will have X amount of time. That's their best guess. And now they're very experienced. They've worked with lots of patients. They're doing the best they can. But a cancer might run rampant, or it might respond to the chemo. You never know for sure.
And probably it's different in everybody. One person can do the chemo and it doesn't work. Another person it does. But it is. I look upon, as I get older. About to hit 79. Geez, I'm amazed at that alone. But that I've always, because I have the fear of death, and because I'm also a person who always thinks of the glass as being half empty.
Yes, you're right. I remember.
I constantly feel I have the Grim Reaper with his scythe standing in back of me saying,
we all feel that way.
Well, let's see.
You're not alone with
let's see. What is it we're going to have get you? I have no idea. I right now I don't have anything. But all of a sudden the doctor could say, you got something. And then you go, okay, that's what's going to get me. But meanwhile, as you get older, you begin to think in terms. I'd like to think that, hey, I have a long life. I'm going to live like I have a long life, and so on. But it's hard to do as you get older.
How?
Oh, you know, I mean, for instance, we've got this problem with the apartment, right? With all this legal action stuff that's going on. I'm wondering if I will live long enough to see it resolve itself. And if it resolves itself, and let's say we get a ton of money, we might buy a house in the country. What are we buying a house for? How long are we going to live to be able to live in that house? You know, these are things you do when you're 50.
Let me give you a hint about houses in the country at your age.
Yeah.
You're way too far from a local hospital.
Oh, okay. You see, you brought it up. You had to bring that up, okay? You know, but there are things you think about. Okay, Marjorie the other day says to me, you know, because we have this cat, cat sit every now and then that we've really come to love. And she said, why don't we get a cat? Why don't we get 2 cats? And I went, I can't stand to have an animal who's going to sit there and go, you know, long after you're gone, I'm still going to be here.
Well, let me tell you about that.
You know?
I had my cat, Ollie
Yeah.
Bennett,
Yeah.
for 14 years. And he got very sick early this year. We tried a bunch of things with the vet, and eventually he'd lost so much weight, and it was time to put him, what's the phrase they use?
Put him
down or something.
Oh, I put a cat down once. I said, you know what? You're not as good as the dog. That's how I put my cat down. You get the joke? Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. It went by me, but now I get it. And one of the things that had bothered me, because he was a biter, he bit my ankles all the time, and even my hands sometimes. And he and I had learned to work that out pretty well. We yelled at each other once in a while. But what worried me, because I had been diagnosed with cancer, is particularly because he was a biter.
Yeah.
Who was ever going to take this cat?
Right.
And I died. So in a way, I mean, you're never ever happy about anybody dying, even your pets.
Yeah.
But in a way, it took a worry away that what would happen to my cat if nobody took him.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I'd love to have another cat, but I don't think that's a real smart idea in my current condition.
No, but as I say, I don't know that I want to get an animal, because how long do cat can live to be, cats especially, can live to be like 18 years old. I had one live to be 19. Shabbos lived to be 19. And because of that, I think about, you know, am I going to be able to be old enough to see this cat go? No. So I just, that's the reason why I don't get an animal, just because of my age.
Here's something that's very cool to do. I wrote about it, and then I actually have done it once. I would like to do it again. I went to a shelter place. I called them and talked to them about it. And they had a whole passel of kittens, and they brought out all the kittens in one little room for me. And I got down on the floor and played with these 8 or 10 kittens climbing all over me and meowing. It's the most wonderful thing. You could go try that. You could do it with puppies too. It's just as good with puppies, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess so. You know, I mean, it's just. But all I'm saying is, you know, it's like you always buy ripe bananas. I think somebody said. You know, you never know. And it's. So I mean, that's something you have to constantly think about. In your case, you don't know how long you're going to live. You know, they've
given me some nice numbers, but you know, it's all their best guess is what they're doing.
And you could outlive those too. You know, I mean, again, you're still in that place in the world where you don't know how much longer you have. Just like I don't know how much longer I have.
You don't understand.
Yeah.
I didn't understand is how much work it is to get ready to die.
You were saying
There's just so much to get done. And the lists just get longer and longer, and I need the time to get everything
It's
order.
worse than planning for a trip. You know?
Well, maybe you could look at it that way, planning for a trip.
Okay,
yes.
we're almost at our end here of our.
Oh, well, also the other thing, have I told you that I've got no hair anymore?
Well, you mentioned that before we went on, and that's why I brought it up. I was going to bring it up now because you said you wanted to do the big reveal.
Well, the thing about, you know, women.
Oop. Wow. Ooh, son of a bitch. Well, hold on a second, folks. We will go back and call her again. Apparently, there was a problem here. There we go. We're back again.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened.
We're back again. We'll leave it in. I don't know. Sometimes that's the great Skype gods. But anyway, go back to what we were talking about.
Where were we?
Oh, we were talking about chemo and the hair and.
Yeah, it's not. A lot of hair came out, and so there's just pieces of hair in funny places that were just stupid looking. You can't comb it or anything.
Yeah.
And so I just shave it all off because there's nothing else to do. And the guy who cut my hair, who apparently lost his job now because I have no hair,
did he really?
He bought me a wig and trimmed it all up for me, and I wear that sometimes. And I also wear hats, but and I'm no good with scarves. I've never been able to tie scarves in any possible way, so that's out of the question.
Right.
So I wear hats or I wear the wig, depending on the circumstances. And you know what? You know this, but I didn't. Is when you've got no hair on your head gets cold. So I wear a little knit cap to bed at night now because my head is too cold at night to sleep without it.
Wow.
You don't?
No, I don't wear. No.
Doesn't your head feel cold?
No. I always wear a cap when I'm out. And people say, why do you wear caps like this when you're on a decent day? And I go, because the sun beats down on your head and you get a sunburn on the top of your head. So that's why I wear a cap, not because I'm ashamed of being bald.
Well, you know how it's mostly men who are bald, but occasionally a movie star or a model or something shaves their head. And some people, men and women, look terrific bald because they have a wonderfully shaped skull.
Yeah.
And other people, skull's not shaped so wonderfully.
Yeah.
And many years ago, when I was going through trying new hairstyles all the time, I thought I would shave my head. It would certainly be easier, wouldn't it, than everything else? But I didn't know what the shape of my head was. So when this happened, and I'm stuck with it now, I have a pretty nicely shaped head. But the problem with somebody with a face as old as mine walking around with no hat or no hair is that people look at you and think, oh, chemo, and they're right. And they don't know what to say to you. People have they don't know what to say when they know you have cancer, some people anyway. So I keep something on my head so that we don't run into that problem.
Well,
I thought since we're both
my joke to you,
stone cold bald, we should show this off at the end of the show.
Yeah. But before we do that, I just say that probably, I'd say, what's your sell-by date? Anyway, so I'll do it. I'll do it if you do it. We're both going to go naked, right? This is because I think the audience needs to see this because we know what you look like with hair, and hey, this is part of life too. Okay, here we go. This is mine, and here she goes. Wow, you actually look great. You've got a great shape. You've got a great shaped head.
But I don't care when I walk past the mirror like that, and I thought I would.
No, actually, I think turn sideways a little bit. Let me see. Wow, except for the dent in your head from the hat, it looks.
Dent in my head?
Yeah. See the little ring right around there where the hat was.
Well, I can't see
there?
because it's only a little picture here.
Yeah.
But I've had the hat on for an hour. That happens.
Yeah.
It'll go away.
But hey, if you want to do the show every time we do this like that, I'll do it like this.
Well, it's chilly in here, so I'll wear a hat or the wig.
You'll wear a hat or a wig. Well, all I'm saying is you look very good. You look very good. Well, if you're going to do that, then I'm going to do this. What the hell? Ronni, always good.
Maybe I'll just do a parade of all my hats. I have lots of hats.
Okay, well, we'll do that. And, maybe you'll wear the wig once.
Yeah.
If I still had one of my old hair pieces that I tried for about a minute and a half in my life, I'd wear one of those. Anyway, Ronni, we love you, and we love talking to you, and we'll do it again in a couple of weeks, okay?
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous... Oh, by the way, timegosby.net. is where you can find her blog. The lovely and attractive and formerly married to me, Ronni Bennett. Thanks, Ronni.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Well, that was something, wasn't it? Little treat for you all to see Ronni in her all together. I think she looks great, to be honest with you. You know, and that was brave of her. I really think so. Very brave of her. I mean, you know, you have to give up something of your dignity, or what you perceive to be your dignity, to do that. And then when you do it, you find out you didn't lose your dignity at all. So anyway, boy, what a brave woman. I have so much respect for her. And, well, anyway, we now go to our phones here. And let me turn on the lines so that people can call me. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. If you don't know how to call us, go over to gabnet.net, and over there you will find a whole tutorial on the right-hand side of the page on how you can call using Skype. Okay, that's the method we use. You can also find all our programs over there on demand, and you can also find the video of this program over there as well. Let me see here. And when we're live, we're also live over there on the GabNet page. So there are all kinds of ways. We're around town more than a cheap suit. We're on Spotify, and we're on Facebook, and we're on Twitter, and we're on everything. I've never really mastered Twitter, though. Somehow I just can't shut up in that terse a language, okay? But anyway, but we do put all our postings from Facebook automatically go over to Twitter as well. Let me see here. And, here comes Phil Meyer, ladies and gentlemen. First to check in with us. Hello there, Phil.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
Hey, I was listening to your interview with Ronni, and
push your face a little more in the center of the.
Okay, yeah, I see.
There we go. Yeah, that's
all
better.
right.
Yeah, that's
I had to move the camera.
Yeah.
As I listened to the interview, I began thinking about the fact that you did one of those DNA. One of those DNA things. I don't remember which brand.
Also, lower your volume a little bit. You're distorting for some reason.
Okay. How's that?
No, more.
More?
Yeah. More.
All right. How's that?
A little more.
Try the compressor.
Yeah.
Okay. Test.
Now you're better.
Okay.
And make that
All
camera. Right. You gotta get the camera up a little bit. Yeah. There we go. Oh, that's much better. Yeah.
All right.
Take two.
All right. So I was thinking as you were speaking with her that her son was able to find her through her DNA, right?
Well, through what happens is when you go to these DNA companies,
right,
and you get your DNA done, which I did, they then send you stuff like, here are matches close to you, and in her case, you got one that said this one's so close to you, it's probably your son. So that's what happened.
Yeah, well, I've never had one of those DNA things done.
Yeah.
But, and there's a possibility that there's a couple of little Phils out, running around out there. I paid for a number of abortions over the years.
Yeah.
And
one crawled out of the garbage can and managed to make it to safety?
I had really good swimmers.
Oh, I see. Okay. Good.
They were expensive.
Yeah.
Anyway. I guess that's how I treated contraception in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I was just thinking it'd be interesting if you got one of those knocks on the door one of these days.
Well, I mean, it could happen.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always that possibility. And of course, you have the choice of whether you want to reply to it or not. I mean, I think Ronni, when she explained it a couple of weeks ago, said that, you know, she thought about whether she should reply and whatever. You know, there's that reluctance. But it's turned out into a very happy thing for her, especially considering all the else that's going on in her life. This kind of puts a
Andrews and Darnell's the old school guys.
What?
You know, we've come along.
What's that?
Sorry about that. Sorry about
What's
that.
that, television?
I changed the input on my TV, which I thought was muted, and when it got to live TV, it certainly wasn't.
That's Rob, by the way, Rob Alfano. If his voice sounds familiar, it should be familiar to you if you listen to Gabnet at any amount of time. But anyway, you know, she had the opportunity. They give you that opportunity to either reply or not reply or whatever. And she did, and it's been a really pleasant thing for her. You know, this is what she needed right now. She needed it kind of put a period on things. You know, it let something resolve itself. I know that I had a kid when I was 19 that was given up for adoption, and I have to say that's always been a big question mark in my life. You know?
Now, do you think that the reason the kid hasn't popped up on one of the DNA websites is because it really wasn't yours? It was Joey down the street?
Well, I mean, there's always that possibility, but I'm pretty sure it was mine. But, you know, I mean, what has to happen is that person has to say, oh, I want to give my DNA to the Mormons in Utah. So they can find out where I'm from and so on. And so what they do is they then say, and these are people that are closely matched to you. In fact, they sent me a close match, and it was my cousin. So I know that they're pretty accurate about this sort of thing, you know. Let me adjust my panel here because I'm completely blocking Kevin. There we go.
Well,
now Kevin looks good.
Now that your DNA is in Utah, are you tithing to the church?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Good.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, I think it's a fascinating thing that's happened to her. And if you go onto her site, which is timegoesby.net, and read the account of it, it really will bring a tear to your eye, you know? Especially with all else that's going on in her life, you know, which, you know, a couple of weeks ago she said, well, maybe I've outset 2 years to live, and now it's down to a year, you know, and
they don't know. You know,
they really don't, you know, and they'll tell you they don't know. They can only give you their best guess. You know,
it's funny. They wouldn't do that with my dad. They told my dad, "You have inoperable pancreatic cancer. Well, the best advice we could give you is to go home and research it."
Okay.
They would not give him. They did not say you've got a year because they asked. Yeah. You know, obviously they asked, and the doctor said, Best we can tell you, the best way to just tell you is just to go home and just do some research on it.
And so from that diagnosis to the time he passed, how long was that?
Let's see, got the diagnosis in February of 2010, and he died today, 7 years ago. So December 11th, 2011. So
yeah. That actually, he did pretty good for somebody with pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, when you consider that, you know, we started noticing weight loss probably around the October time frame.
Yeah.
He didn't get the diagnosis until February, but around October before is when we got the diagnosis. Is when we said, I was like, hey, you know, you losing weight? He goes, no, I don't know. Whatever.
Feel good.
Well, yeah. I had a friend of mine.
It just sort of, and I was thinking about that when I was listening to, you know, the interview with Ronni, and she was talking about how incredible it is to her that there are these things going on inside of her that are going to kill her, pretty much. And she, outside of the fact that she's a little winded, and the side effects of the chemo, she has absolutely no idea anything's wrong.
Yeah. In fact, you know, last year she had pancreatic cancer, and they did it. They actually it was operable. Right. And they operated on her. They gutted her like a carp, but they did that, and she was pronounced cancer-free at one point. And then they went in, they took their regular CT scan, and they said to her, "You have inoperable lung cancer and something in the gut. I can't remember what it's called now. And just told there's nothing we can do. Now, yeah, I find that hard to believe that it's inoperable. You know, I mean,
because you know why? Of course it's not inoperable. What is, it's out of control. There's no way to get it, right? It's not contained.
Maybe it's spread.
So while you can operate, you're not gonna.
But here's the thing:
she had spread around.
She had one of the most inoperable cancers known to mankind, which is pancreatic cancer, and yet they operated on it and they got it all
because they thought it was contained.
So
they think they got it all, but now it's
obviously they didn't.
Yeah.
Well, you know, she said to me once when we were talking, this was off the air, that somehow if you get cancer once, you're probably going to get it again. Not because it spreads, but because you're just prone to it. You know? Now, there are people who have cancer, who go through chemo, as she said, and then they go on to live another 15, 20 years. And
I think that the reason I got the prostate cancer was my own doing. I had noticed maybe in 2011 that I had a urinary tract infection, or I didn't know it was a urinary tract infection.
Yeah.
I just noticed that I was peeing a lot. My prostate was growing.
But that's what they call benign prostate hyperplasia.
But I didn't do anything about it. I lived with it.
Yeah, but I don't think I think you still would have gotten pancreatic cancer. I mean, prostate cancer. I don't think that had anything to do with the prostate cancer.
You don't think it's there's something they can do to deal with it?
No.
You know, it's not.
No, they can do something to stop.
Give you an antibiotic if you have like a urinary tract infection.
And if you have an enlarged prostate, you can take finasteride, you can take Cialis. And those things will.
Maybe if I did, that would have reduced it, so I wouldn't have had.
No, cancer is cancer.
Lots and lots and lots of men.
You also got to remember that cancer is in a lot of ways in all of our bodies, and our immune system is constantly fighting it.
Yeah,
and it's just a matter of whether your immune system continues to fight it and beat it off, and that's the whole thing. Is, you know, some of your immune systems, you know, die off, you know, aren't as strong as you get older, and then it doesn't attack those certain
also
pieces.
I mean, we also happens. As she said, people have different kinds. I mean, like for instance, most men, if they live long enough, will have prostate cancer, but they're not going to remove the prostate over it. You know, I mean, I just came out with a while back with a rise in my PSA. It went up to like a 3.3, which is still low for my age.
Very low for your age.
For my age. But, you know, it could go higher and higher and higher, and all of a sudden they'll take a look at it and say, well, you've got it, you know, but it's at my age, it would be very slow growing. And they figure, hey, I'm going to be dead from something else before this ever gets me, so they just keep an eye on it. But
you'd be amazed at what your body is fighting all the time.
Yeah. But on the other hand, I figured out one of the reasons it went up is because I was working out. I was doing the cycle every day. And then I took 3 days off before the test, but they say that can raise your prostate, your PSA. Yeah. So, you know, but I don't know, but I'm worried about it because I got to go take it again. And quite frankly, I want to stop taking them. I don't care. I don't think I'm going to die of prostate cancer, okay? I think it's.
Just tell your doctor you're your own.
I think my wife's going to kill me. That's what I think's going to happen. You know, and you know something. It would then be it would be considered justifiable homicide. So you know, I mean,
how is she doing?
Well, she doesn't have cancer. No, we took her. We took her to the doctor on Monday. That would be yesterday, right? Boy, it's hard to believe.
Time flies.
Yeah, 24 hours ago. And he looked at they took an X-ray and they showed it to us, and her knee is now perfectly aligned and everything. Nothing's broken in there. And they tightened up the brace, and she was going to go to work today, but it was hurting a lot because the brace is tighter than it was, and she's having to get used to that. So she's probably going to go to work tomorrow. But she's doing okay. In case people don't know, in case you were away for several weeks, she got pushed by a tourist accidentally, fell to the ground, and broke her knee. Either that or she didn't pay off a debt. I can't figure out which to the mob, and they broke her knees. But it's she's got that.
Is there a dent there from
what?
Is there a dent from a ball hammer?
Wait a minute, you're breaking up on us.
Ball hammer.
For some reason, you're breaking up on us, Phil, and you're whirling around.
And your video's locked.
Now it's back.
Oh,
now
I'm on the wrong network.
Let
me try this.
Yeah, Go to your other network.
It's connected when he changes networks.
But I'm connected now.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, this is the 5G.
But she's got the brace on her leg, and it's going to be there for another 5 weeks, and then a lot of chemotherapy. But I don't know. Somehow she's been lying in bed so much.
Chemotherapy.
Chemotherapy. I mean, I'm thinking.
Yeah, chemo on your mind.
Physical therapy, and who knows? Meanwhile, these pills kind of make me woozy and make me forget things, and I get loopy. But it's also helps my feet. So, what the hell?
Well, I'm not taking those pills, and I forget stuff, and I'm loopy.
Yeah.
So,
but
on to a nicer topic.
There
was a website in San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
That somebody that I knew and Alex knows now probably posted a reaction. Someone said, "Where did Alex Bennett go?" It's a site about San Francisco, and
I saw you join that.
Yeah, so he posted his show, and Alex said that he got almost 1,100 views.
Yeah. So I then went on and I said, I really am still around, and if you want to see my show, and I gave the latest one on Friday, and we got over 1,700 views.
That's fabulous. I posted a picture, and I got like 225 likes or 260 likes, something like that.
Yeah.
I've been on that site for quite a while.
Can we see your video, or do you just want to show your picture of you as the thinker?
Well, you know what? I'm out. I'm kind of underway right now, so I don't know if I'll, how it will go.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was thinking the other day.
Bree, by the way, is in Dubai, in case you're wondering. Yes. Turn sideways. Turn the camera sideways so we get.
I was just thinking how unusual, the show is, and just how amazing. I mean, where, you have these shows like The View, where people are talking about topics, but it's mainly Meghan McCain trying to shout over everyone. But
I know the feeling.
But here is, this show, and I wonder why. I don't know. I just think it's amazing. I guess maybe it could be too slow for some people. They're used to commercials, and they don't know each of us. So, maybe we in like Star Trek or other shows, they'll have an episode where they focus on one character, and then the audience knows them. But I don't know. And also, is this mass communication, mass media, or are we interpersonal? And I think we're group communication.
Let me put it this way: with the amount of people we have, this is called narrowcasting, or we used to call it narrowcasting instead of broadcasting. And this is so narrow, it's actually anorexic broadcasting. So that's the current state of affairs. But
where else can you go to really have these conversations? We can talk about anything.
Yeah.
There's many of us from all different places. What an amazing resource! It's like an ongoing focus group every night.
I think we came up with a format that has not been done in radio, or broadcasting, or narrowcasting, or anorexic broadcasting, anywhere in the history of radio. But that doesn't matter. Here's the problem with the show. It's 2 hours long. Do you know what people listen to? Stuff that's 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
I just watched, there's a very good documentary on where was it? Amazon. About it was called or maybe no, it was Netflix, American Meme, in which they did a documentary on all these people that have gotten famous because of the internet, because of like what was Vine, and then that was done away with, and but you know, Twitter and so on, and people like Paris Hilton who got famous, and it's a very interesting documentary because there are people there that you go, you know, I spent my whole life honing my talent, and these people don't have anything except they know how to, you know, smash a watermelon over their head and get 1 million views. And then they happen to be wearing a pair of sneakers that the company's paying them $150,000 to wear while they're smashing that watermelon over their head. Yes.
Paris Hilton had sex on TV. So that's a little different.
Yeah. Yes, Bree. Now I can't hear you, Bree.
Now you're muted.
You're muted, Bree.
I'm walking to a place on another side of town, so we'll see so I may be in and out. Once I get there, I'll log back in.
Try and go landscape, will you? Because that always looks better and it fits better here. Yeah, there we go.
And
so Alex, I would like to propose topics that you could do on your mini 5 minutes to post to YouTube that would do this.
Yeah.
For one, if you watch Blackpink is a K-pop band, and they have a controversy right now in Indonesia.
K-pop is Korean pop, right?
Yeah, Korean pop.
Korean pop, right? But it's changing. There's a bunch of different things going on with it, and if you were to weigh in on the controversy of Blackpink's television commercial in Indonesia, I think you'd get 1 million hits. And you know, I mean, I don't know if you want to, but
that's the question.
Well, first of all, I have to know what Blackpink is.
And care.
I can tell you. I can give you I'm a Blink, so I can.
I
tell
mean,
you
it sounds
everything.
like the name of a Afro-American porno actress. You know,
you can't. I don't think you'd say that. I mean, if you do a legitimate critique, I think you could get 1 million hits.
Yeah, but what good would that do me? Because I want people here to care about what I'm saying.
I think you get paid money when you get
fun.
1 million hits. Do you get paid money by YouTube at 1 million?
Yes, if you sign up for it.
Oh.
If you're going to search for topics, to me that's sort of like you could go on the air and become a right-wing talk show host. You've got to talk about things that you have an interest in. I think you have to sound what's the word I'm looking for, Alex? To sound not legitimate, but
Accurant.
Say again.
Accurant.
Yeah, just to sound, like you're serious, that you're legitimate, that you mean it,
and all that.
No, that you mean it. That it's there's a word, sincere. You don't want to talk about things that you don't know anything about. You got to find. I think everybody who's successful on the internet, whether it's on YouTube, wherever it is, they like the makeup girl. She loves makeup. She's making a fortune. She's not doing
I figured one the other day. There, for instance, there's a game I bought. It's called Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption is one of the fastest selling video games of all time. Which is pretty terrific, but it sucks. So I was thinking of doing just a short thing that's about 5 minutes long about the 5 things that suck about Red Dead Redemption. And I'll bet you, cool. I may try that, and I bet if I just put it up on YouTube and with the hashtags and so on, so people will see Red Dead Redemption, I bet I could get at least 25,000 hits.
So here's what's going to happen, Alex. You'll become a superstar sensation because nobody will be expecting somebody your age talking about that.
Yeah.
But they may hate you because these people bought the game. They try to tell themselves that they made a good
I don't care
investment.
if they hate me. I want to see how many people I'm going to get. I want to see why I feel the game
He's never
sucks.
worried about that.
I paid paid $59.95 for this game, and it fucking sucks. It's like it takes place in the Old West, and it's a lot of people riding from one place to another interminably, talking to each other.
Oh, is this the one that you're a cowboy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I heard about that.
But you begin to find how boring it is to be a cowboy.
You gotta like brush the horse, and you gotta do all those daily cowboy things. You gotta take care of yourself.
All of those things are boring. I've never gotten.
I don't know. I
games.
play as a game, and I'm kind of stuck on it.
with you, Phil.
I kind of got stuck, and I stopped playing it. But it's really good, which is Tomb Raider, the latest Tomb Raider game, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and it's really good because there's constantly stuff you got to do and places you got to go, and it's not like she's got to run for 10 minutes and be talking to somebody, you know. It's like she's got to go here and she's got to jump over that, and she's got to find this thing so she can go to that thing, and she's got to solve this puzzle. And it kept my attention. The only thing was I hit something that was so hard I couldn't get past it. And I'll probably go back to it and be able to do it really fast when I finally do it. But
or do what I do, which is go search for the cheat codes.
Well, there aren't cheat codes. There used to be cheat codes where you could go skip over a certain area and get to the next thing. Yeah.
Now I liked Pong when it came out. I had one of the original Pongs, and that was interesting. And then I got into Pac-Man. I used to play it at this bar. Matter of fact, Alex, you went to that bar for my 30-some-odd birthday. Might have been my 30th or my 35th.
Was that the 3 a.m. club or something?
No. It was it's the Silver Cloud. It was the Silver Cloud on Laguna and Lombard.
Mm-hmm.
That's where my ex threw my birthday party.
Yeah.
And so they had a tabletop Pac-Man there, and I used to play that thing like it was going out of style. But
it has gone out of style, Phil.
Yeah, I'm always out of style. but I never got into the games. It just seemed like such a waste of time.
Do you know how much it cost them to make this Red Dead Redemption? Something like
probably probably $500,000. They pay these guys a lot of money
to make it.
Yeah, they do.
To
the
make
voiceovers.
This game cost something like $50 million to create.
Wow.
Oh,
they have actors and writers and
orchestras, but that's just talent. You're talking about people who program it and make the thing work, and it took them 7 years.
Well, how long does it? How much does it cost to make a feature movie? A lot more than that, right?
Believe me, yes, it probably costs a little more to make a feature movie, but you'll make less money than you will on the video game.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
So these video games, I gotta tell you, $59.95 for a game, okay, and you can't get around that. Maybe you can get $10 off somewhere or something like that, but it basically is $59.95, and they sold, I think, of this one so far about 1 million of them or 2 million of them. Well, how much is that? That's $59 million they made off this thing so far.
But it cost them $50 million.
Oh, so. I'd say, I think I read a number around $50 million, something like that. Yeah, very expensive, very expensive. But it's worth it. It's worth the investment.
I wonder how many of those things they make that don't sell.
Oh, I'm sure there are those too. That's why, and I got to tell you, I looked at, I wish I could tell you the difference because you guys don't know from video games, especially Jeff. Although for all I know, he could be a closet player, right? But I got to tell you, Red Dead Redemption, for all the money they spent on it, does not look as good as Tomb Raider, which probably costs less to make.
Yeah,
the Tomb Raider is gorgeous. And the people, the people that you're manipulating, and I like this because I'm manipulating a woman. let's see it. I really found this game gorgeous to look at. In fact, the last couple of games they've done were gorgeous.
How much time would you say in a week that you invest in those games?
Well, I finished one, and I think it took me. I really couldn't tell you. I'd say maybe 100 hours.
Not in a week.
Well, not in a week. I'm saying 100 hours total for playing the game.
I'm trying to think about how often, how many hours a day or so do you spend with video games?
I don't. Right now, I'm not at all, because I don't like Red Dead Redemption, and I'm stuck on Tomb Raider. I could go back to one of the other games and play them, you know, but I'm not ready to do that. You know, I mean, and you can go back and replay them. You know, you find them sometimes more fun the second time because, you know, you
can go a different way.
Yeah, you can go a different way, exactly. But anyways, I mean, I like video games. I think they're terrific. But I don't know.
You should do a video game show. I think it would do very well if you start.
Yeah, but I'm not. Reviews. You know, I got to tell you, there are these guys. There's a guy named Rad Brad. The reason I'm mentioning him is because he's played all these Tomb Raider games. And then what he does is he goes on YouTube and he shows you, he plays through the entire game on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's usually in chapters, they're like maybe 20 half-hour chapters for a whole game. But he goes through it step by step. So, of course, I watch him so I can see how you can solve certain things, you know. And he gets 250,000 500,000 people will watch a particular episode of his doing of it, and he's terrific. I enjoy not even playing the game, but watching Rad Brad play it. If you can imagine that.
That's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, but it is entertaining.
And you know, my camera friend that has all those followers, he's got other YouTube channels, and one of them is he goes out to a seafood restaurant and he shows himself eating copious amounts of seafood, and then he critiques how good or bad the restaurant was, and he's got an enormous amount of people that watch this thing.
By the way,
I watch Corvette channels. There's a bunch of guys who have Corvettes, and I watch their channels, and I watch all their videos. I could spend hours, and I watch how-to videos. Oh, they're doing this. Oh, what do they do with that? And I get, like, just completely immersed in it.
Forbin Colossus, who writes on here, said, I tested games at LucasArts in San Francisco. I did voices at LucasArts in San Francisco. I was on a game called what was it? Oh, it was oh my God, my mind's gone. I forget it. It was a motorcycle game.
Yeah, Tom would know.
I forgot the name. I forgot the name of it. But I have a copy of it. They just re-released it, and I downloaded it to watch to play it to get to my part, which is way into the game. You know. I'm the Smashatorium announcer. And what was it called? Damn it. Oh, God. I'm really... These pills...
Star Wars?
These gabapentin pretty soon is going to make me forget who I am. What?
So was it called Star Wars?
No, it wasn't called Star Wars. But anyway, but Red Dead Redemption... and then Marty Crash says, anyone play Red Dead Redemption yet? I guess you haven't been listening to this program, Marty.
Maybe he was asking others.
Damn it, I have.
He might have been asking others.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, we all start wearing the Gabnet outfits, the the pajama bottoms.
Yeah.
Now I noticed that 3 people on here have the same glasses. Now Rob and Bree are both wearing the silhouette, same model, just about the same. Yeah, same shape. So now everybody that wears glasses is going to have to start wearing silhouettes.
Well, these are Costco.
Yeah,
they're good. They're fine.
Those are readers.
Yeah, and these new ones that I got actually are pretty solid, pretty rugged. I try not to wear them much because I'm getting too used to them again. Anyway. So let's see, what else is going on in the world?
Well, is the obvious. Do you want to go there yet?
Bring it up.
Yeah, bring it up.
The noose is tightening. The noose is tightening.
No, that's just.
Well, let me bring this one. Let me bring this up first, okay?
Yeah.
Time Magazine finally has named its Person of the Year.
That was, yeah.
Well, don't put it down, Kevin.
Well, I'm not putting it down.
I'm seeing the method in the madness here. Time Magazine took the Raps off its choice for its 2018 Person of the Year. I remember the year they made, what was it? Somebody in computers, not a name person, but
the app. I thought it was the Apple computer or something.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
The computer was the Person of the Year.
Yeah, something like that.
There's definitely a message behind it, obviously.
But anyway, it says in a piece published Tuesday under the headline "Guardians and the War on Truth." The publication singled out the Guardian journalists who have been targeted for their work. Khashoggi I think they have several different covers. And different people being on it. The Capital Gazette, Maria Ressa, Wallone, and Kayawa Sod. I don't know who that is. But they're Times Person of the Year. I think this is kind of what if we were to encapsulate who the Person of the Year is, what would it be?
Donald Trump.
Well,
press.
It would be the press, and it would be the war on the press.
Yep.
And the Person of the Year, in fact, is fake news.
Yep.
Well, it's funny. I watch these shows and I see, like on CNN and others, they're saying, oh well, now they didn't say indicted, but they named Trump as
person number one.
Person number one, and that these are felonies. Other stations are saying this is not in fact the case. That
well, what are other stations?
Well, if Fox for one.
Okay.
Well, hey, you laugh, but what's
I hear what
it's just the other side.
Yeah,
of the
but
pendulum.
no. It's, and I'll tell you, and the left is just as guilty of this. But you guys have a tendency to always go to Fox because it agrees with you.
Well,
and the right has a tendency to go to MSNBC because it agrees with them. Now, let me say this: I'm getting increasingly bothered by MSNBC.
I never watched that shit.
Yeah, I'm increasingly
they're getting out of hand.
Well, they're getting out of hand because everything is bashing Trump. Now, I don't mind if at night when you've got your commentators, they bash Trump. Okay, they're commentators, pure and clear. All right, but during the day when you're calling those things newscasts and you're being extremely biased and spending the whole hour spinning the Trump as an asshole, which he is, I think there's something very wrong with that, and it's getting to bother me.
It's a whole hour of the same thing, and then they go to the next hour and they repeat it all over again.
Yeah,
and it
well,
gets
that's
old.
what they do.
Yeah,
it gets old.
That's because most people, unlike us, only watch an hour and then they go away. But
But nevertheless, in that hour, for the whole hour, you're getting Trump bashing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's other news in the world.
Well, that's usually when I switch over to Fox to see if they're Trump boasting.
Yeah, but then you're going to go the other way. You know what I do? I go to the BBC and I feel like I'm taking a shower.
Yeah,
well, I can only take so much of Fox.
Exactly,
and I can't take much of CBS or any of the other ones because I can see their partiality to being anti-Trump. And
CBS is telling you what the news is. They're not commentary. There's no commentary. They're reporting facts. You don't like
yeah, let me say this. Let me say this.
Come on, it's the CBS Evening News you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the CBS
that crap.
No, that's different.
Put on the nightly news and see what's going on.
Yeah, the nightly news is pretty.
You mean your Lester Holt guy?
Yeah, unbiased. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
it's called milk toast.
Half-hour unbiased. Get
well,
it done.
Why is being unbiased milk toast?
Yeah.
You know, why is being unbiased not just decent journalism with no frills?
I don't listen to that thing. Maybe I should. You know, but
that's only 30 minutes.
Well, I find Lester Holt disgusting because after every story, he's got to have some kind of little fun comment like, "Yes, doesn't that all make us feel good?" Or, "Oh, how about that kitten? Don't you just love kitties?" You know, I mean, he does stuff like that.
He's trying to imitate that guy, that On the Road guy. He's dead now.
Charles Carroll.
Charles Carroll. While he was on the road, he was fucking a lot of women. Do you know that story about?
Good for him.
Yeah, he was a real player.
Crap, don't look like the type.
Hey, that means there's still hope for us.
You know, but anyway, I mean, I just find that I'm getting increasingly disgusted with watching MSNBC because it's just the same drum beating all the time, you know, and the same bashing of Trump. Now, you know, but
they're using the same theory that Hitler used. If you repeat it often enough, it'll be true.
Oh no, that's what Trump does.
Yeah. The same
thing. But MSNBC and all of those other bashers, they're doing the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing.
From their angle.
Not the same. You know? It's not the same thing. What
they're
Trump
not
does,
in office.
What Trump does is the big lie. He keeps telling mistruths over and over and over again. Today, he was telling a major mistruth.
Oh, you mean the wall stuff?
About the wall stuff. Yeah, he was absolutely lying about every inch of what he was saying.
He said he was given those statistics, so this way you can't blame him. But number one, I think he stood up to Schumer and Pelosi and showed them that he wasn't going to back down.
I think we saw it through different eyes. Phil.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know, you see them through.
What I
different
saw
eyes.
there was a president who should have had that kind of meeting in private.
Yep, should have shut it down. Had a private meeting.
Well, I think he's trying to.
No, he should have. He should have had a private meeting.
Reality TV, folks. This is where he comes from.
Well,
so
he have
went right back to The Apprentice there.
So he created a reality TV today, but the point was that everything he was saying was completely wrong. To begin with, there is no wall. The wall has not been built and hasn't even been partially built. There is some barbed wire they put up in a few places, but that's about the extent of it. And so far as all these things about murderers being stopped and
he says 10
all
actual terrorists.
All actual lies. They were lies. They were 10 people. When it was checked out, there were 10 people who were stopped at the border because they were on the terrorist watch list, but there was no proof that they, in fact, were the terrorists on the watch list. They just had they just had the same name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some Mexican names?
Gonzalez.
Yeah, Gonzalez.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not Mexicans.
But
they all look alike.
They're South Americans, and they don't all look the same.
They speak alike. They act alike. They're cousins, identical cousins.
Two of a kind.
Yeah, that's right.
Trumpism.
But no, it was you know, he was lying like crazy. They did right afterwards. They went and did some fact checking on all of this, and it was all a lie, including the fact that he's built part of the wall.
Does it surprise you?
Well, they gave him how much? They gave him like $1 billion or $1.5 billion or $1.6 billion, and he has built.
No, he has not.
What's he done with the money?
Nothing.
Did he just pay off more hookers?
No, they spent the money.
Spent it on barbed wire.
On barbed wire.
Well, barbed wire's good.
To put on the shit that he's already got.
Well, I guess a lot of those areas were very weakly
yeah, but he said he was built the new stuff.
And now, Phil, what this guy wants to do is to hold up the budget. In other words, kill the budget, which will die, next Friday, if I'm not mistaken?
Something like that.
Yeah, next Friday.
Next Friday.
A week from this Friday.
If we don't agree to build his wall. And you know what he's going to do? Wait a minute. Let me finish this. You know what he's going to do by not by killing the appropriations for the
there'll
budget?
be a small percentage of the government that won't be working.
Most of the government won't be.
They said like 15%.
Well, that's enough to make a bad Christmas for those families.
I have a feeling
he's
it'll be national parks.
He's the Grinch.
Correct.
Well, it'll be national parks.
He's the Grinch. Wait a minute. He's the Grinch. He's going to steal Christmas from these families.
And then he's going to have to pay them anyway when he opens the government.
Exactly.
Yes,
so what's going to happen is, so they shut the government down. These guys, if they're living paycheck to paycheck, then they got a problem. But
That's their own damn fault, right?
Yeah, it's their own damn fault, Phil. The things are too expensive these days, and they can barely make ends meet because the government doesn't pay enough.
Well, then they should go to France and burn down the Champs-Élysées. Anyway. Because they're saying there that they're so pro climate change, but because of the taxes that are being generated through climate change and your carbon taxes, these people can't make ends meet. And now they're putting on yellow jackets and they're going into the street and they're burning down the Champs-Élysées and
they're not burning. They're not. You try and burn down the Arc de Triomphe.
They're looting stores along the Champs-Élysées.
They are okay.
And they're burning cars and tipping them over. And have you seen the pictures of what's going on there? It's every weekend.
Hoodlums. No, every weekend. The weekdays they take off.
Yeah.
They have regular jobs.
They have regular jobs and they take off.
They gotta have lunch. In France they take off 4 hours for.
Well, your perception of the world is really fucked, Phil.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Well, I just view it from an accurate angle.
You see, I mean, you should if you're like Trump, he hates Macron too. So he and the looters have something in common.
Did you hear Macron is actually now saying he's trying to pay off the looters the same way Daniels got paid by Trump. You're going to get a bonus and it will be tax free.
Yeah.
So,
and not a blowjob has to be given.
Well, he's giving him a blowjob. He's just paying for it. He's not getting one.
What Rob? Did you want to say something?
I just had a senior moment. I completely went out of my mind. I was just going to say something that was related to this, and whoosh, goodbye.
Yeah, well,
and I'm not on gabapentin.
Well, gabapentin. I just thought
you're on Gabinet.
Gabapentin should come out with
your game was Full Throttle.
Yeah, full throttle. Right.
There you go. Okay, go back on that. I digress.
Okay, no, but I'm thinking
Corbin
they should
that.
gabapentin. They should call the brain fart medicine. It's a constant brain fart.
CRS medicine. Can't remember shit.
Yeah.
You know why Alex has the panel and we're called cheap or free content. Where else can you put on a show? You get free content.
Well, if you're free content, what am I?
Ribble.
I'm actually paying for this.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but I'm paying for it. I pay for
that's one way to get friends.
I pay for the bandwidth every month. I pay for the website space. I pay. I pay through the nose.
Yeah.
I have to pay every month for my Adobe suite, to do all the artwork and the audio and stuff like that. So
So what's the difference between you and Trump? Trump had to pay for his girlfriends not to talk. You got to pay. Nothing in life is
what
free.
I have to pay you to talk.
No. I talk for free.
Yeah,
you know that.
Yeah,
I talk to hear myself talk.
Well, I don't know how this thing's going to ferret itself out, but I can't believe that Trump isn't losing a little sleep over all of this.
I know.
I'm sure he's angry, but you know what?
Not losing sleep from anger. Losing sleep because he knows the reality of what's going on and where the truth lies.
Yep.
And that all they got to do is get him on just one of these things.
But how are you so sure that's the truth? How can you be that sure? I know Rob is saying, hey, I believe it because I want to believe it.
No.
But how do you know it's the truth?
Look at Donald Trump's history.
Because he lies about everything, Phil.
You know,
So
if
He lies about it. So what?
So what? You want a president?
He's transparent because he's the
He's
first
really
president.
transparent.
You know, we've gone
too.
from our first president who said to his father when he chopped down a cherry tree, "I cannot tell a lie," to a president who went, "Of course I can tell a lie." You know, I mean,
except Washington was lying.
I cannot tell a lie. Well, yeah, Trump.
He can't even find someone to be his new.
You know what?
I thought
nobody wants to be his.
Nobody wants the job. It's one of the most coveted jobs in the land, right?
He
it's
says,
such an honor.
He says we've got them
so what
back.
does that tell you about this man?
We've
man,
got people
personality?
backed up wanting that job.
Yeah, he says people are backed up wanting it.
Well, you know who want them?
Yeah, they're all backed up.
Mexicans, so they can have a good job in America.
It's shovel ready.
You can fire them every other day.
Yeah.
Can't get anybody. Nobody wants to be chief of staff. It's amazing.
Nobody wants to be chief of staff.
It's just unheard of.
They don't want to be because they know that he's a handful. You know,
he's impossible to work with.
What were you saying?
Now he can't find anybody, so you
Jeff?
can't bring the best in.
Jeff?
Just the best we're going to have.
Yes, Jeff.
Well, he had the best.
Wait a minute.
Then
Yes, Jeff. Jeff's got his hand.
It
Jeff.
also gives you a permanent bad reputation.
Yeah, no shit.
From Trump. You're considered to be an asshole.
I mean, I can't imagine how happy Kelly is to not have that job
General
anymore.
Kelly.
Yeah, but to not have that job anymore. I imagine he is just jumping through hoops because that has been a miserable job for him. You know, plus you had a guy who hired you because you were the expert, and then he won't listen to you.
And he brings this guy in to be Secretary of State who ran ExxonMobil. This guy is a freaking CEO of this country, really, if you think about it. And then you listen to what he says. Well, you know, you couldn't tell Trump anything. If he wanted to do something, you'd say, yes, Mr. President, I understand you want to do that. But you can't do that because it's illegal because of this, this, and this. He just couldn't accept that. It's because he's used to being running a small little family business.
He thinks like we used to think when we were kids about the presidency, that if I was president, I could do anything I want to do.
Right.
Yep.
Kind of like Truman, who ran a hardware store.
What's that?
You know,
have to do
I mean,
with
what's the
What
difference
does that have
between
to do
running
with
a hardware store or another family
Where did
business,
that
a
come
real estate empire?
Where did that come from?
Well, Rob said, you know, all he knows is running a family business. And I'm saying to myself, well, Truman ran a hardware store.
Yes, but I believe I believe he was also
Probably.
he was in Congress, if I'm not mistaken, and he spent several years in government service before he became president.
So he was on the government dole. You know,
he learned the ropes.
He learned the ropes.
He learned how to steal and not get caught.
Oh, did Truman steal?
I'm sure he did. They all do.
What do you mean you're sure he did? How dare you say somebody steals without having the goods on them?
Hey, how could you accuse Trump without having the goods on him?
We've had the goods on him.
No, you don't have
No,
the goods
yes,
on him.
we
You
do.
got a bunch of commentators saying, oh, it's collusion, it's collusion.
Nobody's saying it's collusion. The collusion
we don't have
has
his attorney going to hell, not
the
hell.
only
maybe
person
going to hell, but going to prison.
His attorney, it was a crook. And, you know,
something
in
like
New York, you deal with a lot of crooks.
How many
Who chose this guy to be his attorney? He didn't know he was a crook?
He's not his chief of staff, you know.
But,
no, I'm sure he knew he was a crook. But, you know, I don't know. He kept him to do certain things.
Yes, to fix stuff. To fix stuff, Phil. What does that imply?
Well, sometimes you break stuff, you got to fix it.
You got to fix it, yeah.
It's amazing that you don't care.
Yeah, it's amazing that you don't care.
No, you don't. You don't care about doing the right thing. You don't care about
But you see,
ethics.
I think he is doing the right thing, and I don't think there's any ethics in Congress or in the Senate or in the House, in government. There's no ethics. All of these guys go there with nothing. Barack Obama went to Washington with one house and a big mortgage, and now he's worth $100 million. Hillary Clinton, they went there, they were bankrupt. and now they're worth $100 and something million.
Yeah, because they get out, they write books, they make speeches, there's a little.
It's payoff. That's payoff.
No, it's not payoff. No, it's not payoff
for all the shit that they did when they were in office.
No, it's not.
It's because this society is all about celebrity. That's how Donald Trump got into office. Celebrity. People bought into the bullshit that was the boardroom, the fake boardroom on the TV show. So he's celebrity. He became president because he's famous. People get off on that. So that's why these presidents get out of office and they make a lot of money, because they're famous.
And Reagan wasn't?
What about him? What about it?
He was famous. I mean, and now if you don't like his movies, I understand. But how do you think he got to be governor? Did he get to be governor because he was such a good administrator?
Actually, oddly enough, Reagan did something which I thought was legitimate, and that was he took himself out of the public eye. In other words, he stopped doing the movie jobs and the TV jobs and just went around making speeches and getting to be known as a political person, and then ran for office so as to not be cashing in directly on his movie rep.
Well, maybe what he was doing was his movie rep gave him the ability to go do speeches.
In this case, Donald Trump went from reality show host to president of the United States.
So
now we're expecting he's asking to take someone who was a host on Fox and Friends and make her the ambassador to the United Nations. Can you imagine
Nobody
that?
else will work for him. That's true. I mean, the guy's got a problem with retention. Employee retention.
I mean, all these other people,
It's because he's getting it from all sides. He even gets it from Kelly Conway's husband. This guy's under attack from everyone.
And could there be a real?
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
No,
everybody's wrong. Everybody's wrong. The whole world is wrong, and Trump is right.
If you were in an elevator and Trump farted, you'd look at the other guy. That's what you'd do, Phil.
I was thinking, a fart doesn't mean there's shit, but
yeah. Try a shart.
I'd hope not. All right. So what else is going on?
That's it. Yeah. I mean, I just think that the wolves are at the door. And
that's what they have.
And in the beginning I said, hey, this guy's never going to get impeached. He's never going to get this or get that. But I got to tell you, I think that when this Mueller thing comes out, it's going to be pretty.
This is the problem. You got to look at this and compare it to John Edwards John Edwards. Yeah. What Trump did was he took his own money to try to protect his reputation.
Wait a minute. What's with John Edwards? John Edwards never became president of the United States. He never even ran. Well, he was out there trying to get nominated, but he never even ran.
But he was prosecuted for basically the same thing, and he was not convicted. I don't know if he was innocent or whatever.
I believe he pleaded guilty, if I'm not mistaken.
No. He was not convicted. And so
somebody look it up if you have a chance.
It up. But,
Kevin,
John Edwards, I know he was tried, but I believe he wasn't convicted.
Well, then he went to a court of law and didn't get convicted. But listen,
that's the deal.
The most that's going to happen is Trump will get impeached, but he won't get convicted in the Senate. Okay, so he's just impeached.
But they can't impeach him for using his own money to protect.
Oh yes, they can.
His
trademark, he was trying to keep two women shut up so they wouldn't talk about what they did, so he could win the presidency. That was the motivation.
He could have done it to keep his wife from finding out.
You could use that as the ancillary excuse, but
but that's the one.
He did it because that would kill his that would kill his campaign.
That's the one that makes his defense. If you can prove, that wasn't his motive, that it wasn't to win the election, because he thought he was going to lose the election. He seriously was as surprised as everyone else was that he won. And so he thought he was going to lose. He thought he was just going to open up a news thing with Roger Ailes and have his own network.
Really?
And when he won,
really? Where'd you hear that one?
Yeah, you hear it around.
You see?
Didn't hear that?
Okay. So you're
around.
So you're privy to doing the same thing you're accusing us of doing.
Hey, I'm a donor. I got the hat. So anyway, you know what? I believe that he had no idea he was going to win, and when he won, he was he even said it. He said that he didn't think he was going to win, and when all of a sudden the states started, the results started coming in, he says, well, "What's going on here?" And
my Russian friends are helping me.
Yeah, I happen to have donated money to Trump's thing, and my great-grandfather was Russian. So therefore, if I could do a Russian accent, I tried to influence the election by donating money and buying the hat. And I'm Russian. I'm more Russian than what's her name is Indian, Pocahontas. Then.
Oh, now you're going to be racist.
Yeah, well, I can't be racist because she's not an Indian. 2,024,000 or something? 2,024?
No, she's about, I think it was 125th Indian, something like that.
No. You're fake news. You got the same statistics that Trump had on the wall. So, 125th.
Listen, you try to go after Elizabeth Warren. A fine woman who I personally can't stand. Okay, so don't try and win me over with your Elizabeth Warren jokes.
Yeah. Well,
she's thinking of running for president, and if she does, boy, it's a sad day in the neighborhood.
That's a win for Trump. That's a win for Trump.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
A lot of time for Trump to be discredited before the next election, where he won't be able to run.
He's going to come out with a tomahawk.
Well, they keep naming. Who they keep bringing up is Beto O'Rourke.
He has no experience.
Well, no, it isn't that he doesn't have experience. Neither did Donald Trump. Okay.
So now that matters.
Well, yeah. All of a sudden that matters.
Wait a minute.
He couldn't beat the guy in Texas, and he had the whole country donating money.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. He came to begin with. He came very close. First of all. Secondly, he was going after a Republican in hot Republican area. Texas is very Republican.
And I ask you, do people like Ted Cruz more than they like Hillary Clinton?
He made more inroads into winning than any Democrat has in the last 25, 30 years.
Trump. He won over Hillary Clinton because people didn't like her. Nobody likes Ted Cruz.
I didn't like Hillary Clinton. Okay,
but you voted for her.
I felt I had to, but actually, did I vote in that election? Because sometimes did I vote for her? Because I'm a little loosey goosey with my vote in New York because hell, she was going to win this state anyway. The reason I go into the voting booth is for all that other stuff, all those other people who are running for the local offices where one vote could make a difference.
Yeah.
So did you hear what Comey said this week?
Well, he doesn't remember anything.
Comey said that he hopes that the Senate, that there's no impeachment because he feels like a third of the population will consider it a coup, and that's exactly what this country doesn't need right now. And he's right, actually.
Yeah, but the only thing is, I'd be surprised. I wonder if Comey is going to get prosecuted or at least pushed a little bit further by the Senate.
No, he won't be prosecuted. What's he going to be prosecuted?
Not over the phony FISA warrant and the dossier and all of that stuff?
What do you mean? The dossier wasn't his, I don't believe.
Yeah, it was brought to him, and he used it to his people used it to get the FISA warrant.
You mean the Steele dossier?
Yes.
The Steele why would you get a FISA warrant over the Steele dossier and know it hasn't been proved to be false?
That's what Strzok and his girlfriend and
but that's a whole that's a whole different story. You're taking you're taking
no, it's not a different story. You know, the whole investigation was started over that, and if that is proved,
over what? Over what? The Steele dossier?
Phony.
Wait a minute, the Steele dossier?
Yes.
No.
Yes. You just don't want to believe it.
The Steele dossier, all it says is he liked to pee on women.
No.
Or have be peed on himself.
No, they were talking about Russian collusion and a bunch of other things. So,
to begin with, collusion is not the charge here.
It was.
No.
Was
Trump always goes, "There's no collusion. There's no collusion."
Right.
That's not what we're saying. That there's collusion.
That somebody who would lie to save himself.
There's conspiracy, Phil. There's conspiracy, not collusion.
Yeah, no. Conspiracy according to Cohn, who's trying to stay out of jail.
And there's corroboration. They're not going to just take what Cohn says without the corroborating evidence of all the other facts and all the other people they've talked to.
You don't even know what everybody else has said to them. You know,
we only know tip of the iceberg right now.
I think he's I'm surprised that he's leaking these memos, and there's no fact to them, or they can't be proven.
Leaking what memos, Phil? Mueller hasn't leaked anything.
Mueller provide certain memos that had this information in it that you guys
he released reports. They're not memos.
Releases, not leaks.
Those are releases. They were purposefully released.
They were purposely released because they were to be used in other cases, like, for instance, the Southern District of New York in the case against Cohn, and Mueller saying, well, here's how he cooperated with us, and this is not private material. This is material that is for the public.
And you don't think the Southern District of New York is just being sicked on Trump and
no? They found a lot of criminal stuff, not the least of which is a question about Trump's so-called charities.
Well, there's something. If the FISA warrant was in fact the reason that they were able to have this investigation, and they find out that the FISA warrant was not legitimate, and they're saying that it wasn't. There's a thing called
FISA, the fruit. I know the fruit of the
tainted tree or something.
Yeah,
and so that means that all discovery that was based on that gets thrown out.
Fruit from the poisonous tree.
The fruit of the poison tree. They use it in law and they use it in police work.
Yeah.
So, for instance, if I were to arrest somebody and not have the proper probable cause, anything I find subsequent to that is called the fruit of the poisonous tree, and it's all thrown out.
Yeah.
And I'd be surprised if this
what does this have to do with
the fruit of the poisonous tree.
No, it has nothing to do with it. It has
you don't
nothing
want
to
to accept that the FISA warrant was not
Which
legitimate.
FISA warrant?
The FISA warrant that was based on the Steele dossier.
No, but what did that FISA warrant state?
It gave them enough probable cause.
Huh?
No, it gave them enough cause to
who probable
appoint
cause?
An investigator to investigate.
Which investigator?
Mueller.
Mueller was appointed. Actually, the president okayed his appointment.
Wasn't it?
It was him firing Comey.
It was him firing Comey, and that they wanted to have an independent investigator.
Rosenstein created Mueller.
Right.
Yeah.
As an answer to him firing a guy who was investigating him.
Yeah. But
you don't consider that
based on this FISA warrant that was created from the Steele dossier. They used the Steele dossier provided by Bruce.
You're making a big deal out of the Steele dossier, something that's hardly
because it is.
When's the last time you heard it mentioned?
On Fox all the time.
Yeah.
Ingram, what's her name? Laura Ingram.
There's a brainchild for you.
Well, yeah, but she's exposing this stuff.
Yeah.
She's not making it up.
Oh, yeah? What do you mean she's not making it up? Come on.
Because there were other guys that collaborated.
Corroborated.
Collaborated.
Yeah, they all collaborate. She and Trump and,
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Boy, you just, what's going to happen when all this comes out and it says Trump ordered Cohn to pay Stormy Daniels. Let's say they come out with that. He's complicit in having ordered and paid for the Stormy Daniels payoff.
He did. I believe he did.
Okay, and they want to charge him. They want to charge him with attempting to hide that fact because he was being elected.
This is like This is like watching The Sopranos and rooting for Tony Soprano because you like the character. That's exactly what this is.
No, you can't. You can't.
Do you want an America? Do you want America? Do you want us to live in an America? Do you want us to live in an America that's that corrupt?
Now, did he pay off other people before he ran for president?
What's her name? The other one.
No. I mean, long before that.
Oh, probably.
Remember his fixer friend who owns. Remember his fixer buddy who owns the Inquirer. Come on, this guy's got people covering up for him every which way. Come on, I don't understand how you can buy into anything.
You make my point.
What is he going to have to do? Is he going to have? Is he going to have to?
My point.
Is he going to have to come over to your house, shoot Faye with a gun for you to say, "Hey, maybe he's not such a nice guy"?
I got insurance on her. So anyway, Rob's point was that he's got other people that had been doing this for him for quite a while. So if he wasn't running for president then, it only goes to show that this was his normal behavior, even though it's abnormal for people to do this.
You don't understand. The law is the law, and he messed with an election. It doesn't matter. It's a presidential election. You can suppose it because you know what? Common sense doesn't matter in the law.
So Facebook messed with an election.
Common sense doesn't matter.
Yeah, but look at of course it does. It's the facts. You have to have intent, and there's no intent there. His intent was to protect his marriage.
Oh, now you're sitting there figuring out what his intent was.
No, he said it.
How many here vote for trying to win the election? How many here is because he cares about Melania? He doesn't give a shit about Melania. He knows she's in place no matter what he does. No matter what he does because he's got the money.
I get 2 weeks.
What were you going to say, Jeff?
Kangaroo court. Vote for Melania. Yay.
Jeff? Yeah. I mean, come on, Phil. Come on. You can't. Come on. You're kidding us, right?
This is an MSNBC survey when you said who thinks Trump did the wrong thing.
This is all a put on, right, Phil? You really think you've got to know that this guy is a fucking crooked piece of shit.
I don't think he wanted to win. I think from the very beginning, with the things that he was saying, he expected to lose. He was just grandstanding and never expected to win. I don't think he even wanted to win. And now that he's there, he's
okay. So let's see here. You accuse us of implying things about him, and yet you are giving intent and reason to all these various things. Number one, he never wanted to be president. He was only paying off these women so Melania wouldn't find out about it. Go on. You got a few more there, Phil?
Yeah. Well, just think, he's got a kid. He's got a kid with Melania. She's pretty hot. And so it cost him $200,000 to keep these women's mouths shut. They just saw.
And he pays $200,000 to Melania to keep her mouth open. What's the difference?
I'm sure it would cost him a lot more than that if she went down the road. Even with a prenup, I'm sure all his exes do pretty damn well.
Well, all I'm saying is, believe me, Melania has always known that probably Donald is fucking around. All right? That's not a problem. It was the same thing with Hillary. I think Hillary knew that, Bill was fucking around. She knew that. But they both had the same desire, and it was political desires, and they were both political junkies, and the only thing that pissed her off about Monica Lewinsky is, okay, you can fuck around, just don't let anybody find out. And he broke that rule.
Right.
And the same thing's true with Melania. I don't think she cares who he's fucking around with. Hell, she's got the kid, she's got the money, she's got the prenup, pop. all she cares about is that nobody else finds out about it, and this ain't exactly a case of nobody finding out about it.
Well, do you think Hillary was fucking Vince Foster?
No.
Then why did she kill him?
Oh, boy.
Oh,
wow. This is what you learn on Fox News, huh?
No, it's like a scorpion or a spider. They kill their lovers. Yeah. Anyway, I think that the Clintons were pretty corrupt, and you voted for her.
What do you think of the former Exxon CEO? What's his name?
Rex Tillerson.
Rex Tillerson. What do you think of this man? Were you happy that he made him? Right. Okay. So you sort of liked him, and a lot of people think that he's a pretty intelligent guy. So what do you think about all that he said? He's just sour grapes, right? Here's a guy who's going to throw his reputation on the line and say, "Oh, he's just going to speak out because he doesn't like Donald Trump anymore," and he fired him. Come on.
There's a lot of people got fired by Donald Trump, and only a few have spoken out and said that they weren't happy with him. You even look at his past attorney general,
and a few of them were even fired when they weren't on The Apprentice. So that was okay,
Yeah, well, okay, well, bada boom. It's what's his name?
What does it say to you? What does it say to you when he is looking for a chief of staff and nobody wants the fucking job?
I thought he had found. Well, no, he found an attorney general and a UN secretary.
Yeah, but from Fox and Friends.
He still hasn't found an attorney general. He had an interim, and now who is he looking now to put in as the attorney general?
I forget. There was 4 people last time I heard, but
I think
Scott
Baio. I think is
Scott Baio
up for something. Yeah.
Now there was
chief of staff Chris Christie now was
well, yeah. He had somebody that he trusted. I don't know how good a job she could do. She quit the White House. She was a really good-looking. She was his press something, but she seemed to be able to keep him.
High school intern. That's where he's down to now.
No, I don't know if she was a high school intern. She was with him for a number of years, but she was very young.
Well, Pence's second in command was offered the job, and he turned it down.
Yeah.
He said he's got triplets, and he wanted to go home.
How come he wasn't ready to leave Pence?
Do you know something? A lot of people who are work in politics would die to have that job. But none of them want it. What does that say about Trump?
It might be a career ender. I mean,
Why is it a career ender?
Yeah, well, and the reason being is that Trump is under such attack from all sides, some of it legitimate, some of it not, but it's relentless.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Back off a second, Phil. Some of it legitimate.
Wow.
Would you tell me which ones are legitimate?
Well, yeah. Well, if I knew exactly which ones were legitimate and which ones weren't, then if he had ones that were legitimate, they'd get them.
Find him soon. We're going to find out in the next 3 months. I'll bet it'll all be over.
Yeah. Now, what are you guys going to say when you find out he didn't do anything?
Oh well, I will profusely apologize to you, Phil.
Yes, me too. Actually,
right. So will Rob.
What are you going to say when he did?
Yeah.
What are you going to say when he did? Oh well, no, he really didn't do it.
He was doing the right thing. He built the wall. He lowered unemployment.
He didn't build the wall, Phil. There's been no wall built.
Hey, did you come across it? No. So there must have been a wall there because you didn't get out?
No.
When's the last time you went to Mexico?
The most that's happened is some, what do they call it, coil wire was put up in various places. That
works.
It.
That's because he wanted $40 billion and they gave him 1.6.
That's not a wall. That keeps cattle out.
Same thing.
And Bush put that up.
Yeah, but he fixed it.
Obama put some of it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, and Obama said that he didn't want all these illegal aliens coming across the border, and when Trump says he doesn't want it, all of a sudden he's the bad guy. I think that
what Trump doesn't realize is that he has it in his power to keep all those illegal immigrants out of this country. And if he keeps
he
doing
did it.
what he's doing, he's going to manage to do it, because if he tanks the stock market any worse than he has already, they won't want to come here.
Well, you know, there's things going on. Like they arrested.
Well, wait a minute. Phil, let somebody else
Chinese...
talk. Let somebody else talk. What were you going to say, Kevin?
I said because we'll all be in poverty.
Yeah, yeah. Because actually, he's going to have a wall to keep us from going to Mexico.
We'll be going to Mexico for jobs.
The Canadians arrested the CEO of that. I can't pronounce it. It's a cell phone company from China, Huawei or something like that.
Yeah.
Way, yeah.
Huawei. And now she's out on $10 million bail. And Trump today, you talk about the stock market. The stock market went up quite a bit on thoughts that there was going to be a deal.
Yeah, and do you know what happened? You know what happened? He held his
Yeah.
meeting with Schumer, and it immediately started to tank.
Yeah, but there was some other stuff.
No,
Trump accused the Chinese of stealing, intellectual property and other things, and so they saw the fight went on. But it was basically the Nasdaq was up 11, and
and then he held his meeting with Schumer, and it immediately tanked. Now you can't say that isn't cause and effect, Phil.
But it was almost neutral for the day.
Yes, but that's cause and effect, Phil. And what are you going to say about how this stock market's doing very badly?
So Phil, I think I figured out Trump's plan to get, because he said it again today in that little exchange that Mexico is going to pay for the wall.
Yeah,
he's going to destroy this economy so much that Mexico will build it to keep us out. Keep us out.
Well, actually, the thing is that now I forgot what I was going to say. It had to do with that, though. It had to do with Would you say that Trump is a good businessman?
It's better than me.
Okay. Well, in true businessman form, I think his whole plan is to eventually burn down the country and get the insurance money.
Yeah.
That's how we'll balance the budget.
He's not Jewish. Well, maybe his daughter is. What do they call that? A Jewish barbecue?
What do you mean Jewish barbecue?
When you burn down the store for insurance.
I was called it Jewish. I never heard that before, but gee, that's not unfunny.
Yeah.
So what time is it getting to be? Oh, we're getting towards theme song time.
All right.
Yeah, we made it to the end of another gruesome dissertation by Phil.
All right.
With some good 2 cents in by the rest of the panel, but we'll just pass it. We should start calling this the Phil Myers Show, and leave it at that.
Hey,
Phil.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what happens. You spar with me. Everybody else agrees with each other.
Okay, we really agree with each other. Hey guys, it's time to go. Rob, thank you so much once again for being with us. Jeff, always good to have you here. You can't believe what you're hearing, right? No. Phil doesn't even believe it. Thank you, Phil, for being here tonight. And
have a wonderful Trump day.
Yeah, Kevin, thank you so much. I really appreciate it when you call. In fact, why don't all of you give a big wave goodbye, and that way we can... yeah, there they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel. That's how they look. That's how they play, and that's where they go. And let me just turn off all the phones here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Hey, listen, that's it for tonight. I'm Alex Bennett, and this has been The Ramble. And next is The Intersection with Jack Bishop. I'll be back again tomorrow night. First of all, there's the Franchise MC at 8:30 with Sports Show, and then called The Arena, followed by Damian Chaplin. He does a program called The Exchange, and then, yes, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow night, 10 o'clock, same time, same station in life, Eastern Time, we'll be back. And if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye.